This is the year you're going to watch the next Minions movie and all their crazy chaos. But have you already noticed every single detail in the trailer that just came out? Time period. One of the strongest details in this trailer is the fact that the movie will not exactly be a sequel to Minions 2, but instead a story that takes place before it. That's because Minions 2 takes place in the 1970s, while the new movie is going to be set in the 1920s. The story this trailer is going to tell, and based on what Illumination has already said, is about a movie that the Minions want to make. In other words, it's a story about filmmaking itself. Our main Minions, Kevin, Bob, and Stuart, want to film a monster story, so they decide to go after real monsters to start the production. And all of this will be told in a film that looks like a period piece, since, as we explained, it's going to take place in the 1920s. Wow, that's really cool, because as everyone already knows, the Minions are thousands of years old, and because of that, they've been present in many different eras of the universe. But does that also mean we won't see Gru in this production? That's very possible, yes. But if you want to find out more, the moment has come! Let's enjoy another Cinewave together! Cthulhu. Now, you need to be a total nerd to catch the big reference this movie brings in a very creepy moment. The presence of Cthulhu. This green monster with an octopus head and dragon wings is one of the most dangerous and powerful creatures in pop culture. It was created to be a cosmic alien entity and has already been adapted in many cartoons and movies. One reference to this monster appears in the cartoon Ben 10 with the villain Diagon. But what is he doing in Minions 3? His image appears in a book because the Minions are trying to summon this creature to Earth just because they want to film a movie. Just look at the mess they're going to create. This monster could destroy the entire world. Luckily, what the Minions end up summoning is a small and cute version of Cthulhu. But could this still become a problem during the movie? We'll have to wait and see. Title. As you already know, the story of this movie is about the Minions trying to create a film, and that's why the title is not Minions 3, but instead Minions and Monsters. So you can expect this animation to bring lots of action and comedy scenes. Now we can officially say this movie is not called Minions 3. Did you like this change? It could mean we are looking at a brand new franchise where the Minions will run into all kinds of villains, monsters, dark sorcerers, aliens, and much more. Camera. One of the coolest details in this trailer shows one of the Minions holding an old-fashioned movie camera, which means the entire story will have a classic old-time style. So forget about laser beams, teleportation, and super advanced technology. We're talking about a movie that is new and old at the same time. So it's important not to be surprised if, at some point, Illumination creates a Minions movie that takes place in the caveman era. Bathroom. But there's another detail too. There's a moment in this trailer that shows them waking up a mummy in a place that can only be an Egyptian pyramid, but on one of the doors we can see the drawing of a toilet. And more than that, the Minion Chris is using the bathroom, and the funniest part is that he uses the mummy's bandages as toilet paper. Yikes! The problem is that this is very strange because how can there be a toilet symbol inside ancient Egyptian tombs? Those things didn't exist back then. Could there be time travel involved? Soldiers. This trailer starts by showing our Minions dressed like ancient soldiers, with metal helmets, spears, and swords. It really looks like there's going to be time travel, right? Wrong, because this scene is actually a movie studio set, as we're about to show. That's why you can't fully trust this trailer. What's real and what's just the fake movie they are filming has not been revealed yet. The set. When the scene changes, we see that a short man is presenting the other army in the battle scene. It looks like everyone is outside on a sunny day in an open field, right? But at the edge of the set, you can see they are inside a studio and not in a real location. That's why you can't trust everything you see in the trailer. No matter how incredible it looks, it could all be a trick. Do you think the Minions are lying to us? Comment the hashtag Minions so we can get to know you. The movie. Based on the outfits of the actors in the fight scene, we can see that the Minions are going to film a movie about the ancient Vikings. Now, what this has to do with monsters, we'll only find out when the movie hits theaters. But what do you think about it? The villain. Notice that the short man standing in the middle of the scene is the director of the fake movie. And that's fine, every movie has a director. But there's a strange detail about this character. Notice that the director has a monocle, which is a glass lens worn over just one eye. Do you know what that usually means? It's a movie storytelling trick used to signal the villain of the story. In many stories, the antagonist uses something like this, such as a pirate eye patch or even a monocle itself. One example is the Penguin from Batman. He also wears a monocle. But this character in the movie seems to be a friend of the Minions. Could he turn out to be the antagonist? Mischief. A funny detail in the movie's fight scene is that the minions are not armed only with spears and swords. It looks like when the director says action, they're going to use a guitar, plant pots, a sink plunger, and even a cake to beat up the other actors in the film. It seems like the movie studios picked the wrong actors to shoot this story. At least our laughs are guaranteed, right? Reference. You know Minions is a modern animated movie, but that doesn't mean it can't make references to classic cartoons, especially since we're talking about a film set in the 1920s. In one fight scene, one of the minions hits another actor on the head with a giant hammer and keeps going until he drives the actor into the ground. This is a reference to classic cartoons like the early Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, or Woody Woodpecker. Toon Force. Speaking of classic cartoons, there's something called Toon Force. You know when a cartoon character pulls a superpower or an object out of nowhere? That's the name of this ability. We're talking about this now because the minions have a lot of Toon Force, like the giant hammer we just showed, but also in scenes like this one from the trailer, when one of them finds a dart and uses it to poke another character's butt. And this is the minions' greatest power. Will they use this gag a lot in the movie? Wrestling. When the fight ends, we see that one minion is standing on top of an enemy with his leg raised, while another seems to be pretending to be a pro wrestling referee. This is a reference to staged wrestling competitions that exist out there. The villain El Macho from Despicable Me 2 also made references to this kind of show style. The Notebook. In another scene, we see the minions telling the movie director that they are writing a monster film. They are probably asking for help, but there's a funny detail. When they show their idea notebook, there's a drawing of two minions on top of a bed and a shadow behind them. In other words, it looks like a ghost movie. But Stewart talks about kaijus. That's why the director asks what type of monster it is, because a kaiju is a giant creature like Godzilla. It has nothing to do with ghosts. They don't even know what kind of monster they want to use. You know what would be awesome? Subscribing right now and getting all our videos straight on YouTube. Poster. Another detail is that when they are in their hideout trying to summon monsters with a book, behind the characters there is a poster showing the movie the minions want to film. Funny thing is, they haven't even shot the movie yet. Ravioli. In the scene where they are summoning a monster, we can see the word ravioli written behind the movie poster. And when a big light show starts and everything turns into chaos, a piece of paper sticks to one of their faces, and on that paper it says secret ravioli recipe. Do you think it tastes good? Would you eat ravioli made by the minions? It might be the last thing you ever do. Another dimension. Speaking of the scene where they summon other monsters, one of those monsters seems to rise up from the ground, but right behind them we can see some minions struggling not to get sucked into another dimension. Will they make it, or will they get lost in another universe? Trick. Another detail that makes it seem like this movie is a fake is the image of the monsters they are chasing. At one moment, we see a drawing of a monster wearing a plaid scarf, but that wouldn't have existed at the time this drawing was supposed to be made. That image should be thousands of years old. Is this trailer really telling the truth? Hawaii. Want to see another strange detail? When the monsters appear for real, one of them is wearing a seashell bra and a Hawaiian skirt. That's also not something that matches ancient monsters. Why would a scary creature dress like a Hawaiian dancer? Most likely because he's acting. Gelatin. At one point, we see that there will be a jelly-shaped monster with eyes. Is that really a creature, or a monstrous version of the minions who merged together into a single monster? That would be weird. Yellow minion jelly monster. We'll find out what it is when the movie is released in theaters. Pharaoh. A cool detail is that before the mummy scene, we see there is another coffin, suggesting that this mummy was actually a king of ancient Egypt, or someone very important. What will this character's name be? Scratches. But when the mummy's coffin opens, we can see there are scratch marks on the inside of the lid, which suggests the mummy was buried alive. Wow, that's really heavy. Is this monster someone truly evil, or is he the movie's main villain? We'll find out when the film hits theaters on July 2nd, 2026. You can wait for the release here with us. We've prepared 2 videos you're going to love. Pick one and keep having fun here with Teen Videos.